Welcome to the Addiction Connection podcast, connecting the hope of the gospel with the heart of addiction. I am not your host today. We've got other people in our ministry hosting these podcasts, and we're going to go to that in just a minute. But I want to read Romans 12:2. Do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewal of your mind, that by testing you may discern what is the will of God, what is good, acceptable, and perfect. It's National Transformation Month. And I have friends in our ministry. Part of this isn't a one-man show. The Addiction Connection encompasses a lot of people. And I have friends in ministry that are talking to other friends of our ministry and sharing their stories of encouragement and hope in National Transformation Month. I think you're going to be encouraged and excited to hear these stories. So may God bless you richly. It's great to be here today with Jacob Conrad from the great state of Alabama. And I know you were here at the summit last year, right?
No, sir, not last year, but the year before.
Okay, great. I knew I'd seen you before, and we had talked a little bit, but it's great to have you back here.
Yeah.
I just want you to be able to share your transformation testimony and just talk about how once you came to know Christ, it was just all roses and rainbows and sunny and sunny.
It definitely was, 1,000%.
No, go ahead.
So my story starts broken. I was raised in a broken home already. My biological father already left the picture before I was born. I never met my father. I seen pictures of him, but I never actually met him. So it was already broken from the get-go. And so my mother, she was pregnant with me, and she's already had an 8-year-old and I think a 12-year-old already. And so a newborn baby in the picture, it was just a lot. And so we had to move place to place. We couldn't afford rent. My big brother had to be dad. He had to get a job. He had to pay bills. He had to change my diapers. I take care of my mom, my sister. So I look at him as a father, which is weird for my brother, but he was definitely a father figure. And so we just moved place to place. And in 2006, my mom met this guy named Jamie Blanchard. We were in Highland Home, Alabama. It's so small, you blink and you miss it. It's very no lights. Everybody knows everybody. One high school. It's very small. So we moved down there in 2006. My mom married this man. He became my stepfather. And I was a good kid growing up. I would think I was a good kid. I was always A/B on the roll. I always followed rules. I was a good kid. And so on my 13th birthday, I invited everybody to come. All my friends came and whatnot. And my friend, I remember, he said, "Hey, Jacob, check this out." I never, looked at it before. And so I looked at it and I was drawn to it, and that started a 7-year addiction to pornography and sex. And so that was the first time I watched it, and I started watching on my own. I snuck out the house. I got my dad's computer even and looked at it, got his phone and looked at it, and so I just started an addiction. And so through high school, I was doing okay. And in 9th grade was when things went downhill very fast. I was part of the wrong crowd, and I got started doing drugs, alcohol, started smoking pot when I was about 14, 15 years old, drank alcohol, dipped, smoked cigarettes, all about 15, 16 years old. So my parents have no idea I'm doing. They have no idea I'm watching porn, I'm doing drugs, no clue. And so I'm doing all that. And I would say in about 10th grade, I was about 16, 17 years old. My mom was diagnosed with stage 4 pancreatic cancer. And so she was going to die. And that changed my life. Yeah, I was one of the lowest of the low. And me and my mom were very close. I told her everything. And I watched her die in my arms. She got diagnosed in January of 2018 and she died in April. It was very fast. And as a 17-year-old kid, that does something to you. And I went downhill. I did more drugs. I did more alcohol. Even first time had sex. And so now I don't have to watch it. Now I can actually do it. And so I used women. I was a womanizer. I was presented myself as the good guy, and then after a while I just used them and left. And that was it. And it went even so far that I went into homosexual sin, that it was I want more. This isn't satisfying me. I want to go chase after men. And so I did that for about a year and a half. And COVID happened, and so I graduated high school. And after my mom died, my stepdad, he was very verbally abusive. At the time, I didn't know this. I was 17 years old. I was an unbeliever, didn't care, but I didn't realize that he lost his wife for 10 years of marriage. Again, at the time, I didn't know. I was just a jerk. Didn't know. And he was a truck driver, so he was gone 4 or 5 days out the week. And he said, Jacob, don't do this, this, and this. When he was gone, I would bring friends over, bring girls over. I would still lie to him. And then I just wrote him a nasty, vulgar letter. And I said, I'm moving out. So he was gone, and it was a Friday. I got all my stuff together, and I left. And so this is 2020. I'm about probably 18, 17, 18 years old. And I leave. I go to a friend's house. I graduated high school, and doing life there. Still in sin. Still doing drugs. Still partying. And they kicked me out. And so, luckily, a friend of mine was dropping me off, and all my stuff was in garbage bags. And he said, "You're getting out of here." And he said, "Well, you know what? I'll let you come stay with us. You can stay." And so they lived in Raymer, Alabama, not too far from Highland Home, where I lived, about a 10, 15-minute drive. And so I lived there for about 6 to 8 months. Again, still doing drugs, alcohol, having sex, watching porn, not caring, And I would say in that time that the drugs and alcohol was not satisfying anymore. I just knew that it just wasn't the same as it used to be. And I started thinking about God, started thinking about who God is. And in this time, there was this man named Albert Ralph Freeman III. I met him after my mom died, and he's a Marine, and he loves God. He shared the gospel with me 1,000 times, and he just shared the gospel with me, and I called him up, and we were talking and stuff, and so that just really got me thinking about who God is, about eternity. I thought, think about my mom, like what's my death going to look like? Where is she at? And November 6th of 2020 is when I cried out to the Lord, who I blasphemed for 20 years. I said, God, I need you to do something. I can't do it. I can't. And the very next day, I knew I was saved. I knew I was, because all my friends came over, and I had a filthy mouth, like a filthy, filthy, filthy mouth, and I cussed. And for the first time ever in my life, I felt conviction. And I knew that I was a changed man. I knew I was. Everybody thought I was weird and different. Like, I stopped everything. I stopped drugs. I stopped alcohol. I stopped sleeping with women. Pornography was still an issue I had, but I stopped having sex. Stopped doing all of that. All of it was gone. And I met this family during that time, and they took me to a church called Church of the Highlands. And I started going to church, and it was great, learning the Bible fresh. I had that man, Albert Ralph, he gave me his New King James Bible. He had it from the war, and he gave it to me. And I, it was all of these, thous, verlies, I'm like, what is this? But it was great reading it. It was awesome reading God's word for the first time and trying to understand and loving it and enjoying it. And during this time, I met a girl, and we just started talking. And she was a Christian. She loved the Lord. She was a musician like myself. We played music together, and instantly I just fell in love. And so I told her my story. I didn't hold back. I told her, not explicit detail, but I told her. And so we started dating, and her mom knew about Fisher's Farm from her boss. And so I told her mom, we filled out an application, and I texted Jeff. Jeff sent me an email, and he said, "Hey, I got your application. Call me." And I called him, and we were talking, and he said, "Look, give me 3 weeks, and you got a spot." And so I waited 3 weeks, and January 21st of 2021, I went to Fisher's Farm, and this was totally life-changing, and it was great. And so Fisher's Farm is a place, a discipleship home for men who struggle with drugs and alcohol and other life-dominating sins. And it's a year-long program. We work to pay our way through the program, and it's like drinking from a fire hydrant. Like, we're just reading so much and just explaining what sin is. We're in the Bible 24/7, and it was amazing. I loved it. And near the end of the program, I just wanted to leave. I knew I was about to graduate and I wanted to leave so bad to get out. And Jeff told me, you should stay here a lot longer. I said, no, I want to go. So I left and I started working again. It felt good. I was still kind of attached to him. Still went over there a little bit, still going to church, and sin started creeping in again. I started isolating myself, listening to secular music 24/7, talking to multiple women at once, looking at porn again, and I almost had sex. I was so close to having sex with a girl, and Jeff Hand found out. I don't know how he did, but he found out, and he told me to come back again. So I went back for 6 months, and this is in 2022. This is in April, May of 22, and I felt complete shame, like the bottom of the bottom. Like I didn't want to wake up. I didn't want to even just grab something out the drawer or anything. I just felt horrible, and the Lord revealed to me that how selfish I truly am. And that's when it changed. That's when it just clicked. Like I'm very selfish, and God has put me here for a reason, to transform me and mold me. And through that season, Jeff Hand gave me the opportunity to be the intern at Fisher's Farm. And so that's just basically, I had a lot more kind of leadership role. And so I did TAC. I did that to biblical counseling, and I was with the guys. I helped them. I kind of counseled here and there a little bit. And I don't think before I speak sometimes. I still struggle with that every once in a while. But I was just, I was in a season of discontent. I hated the work. It was the same thing over and over and over again. And I said something stupid to the guys. Jeff found out, and he basically fired me. That's basically what happened. And so I had to find another job. I had to pay rent, and the deacon at my church I go to, he had a business called Target Lawn Care, and it was turf. It was for turf. And so what we did, we just sprayed grass, killed weeds, and I knew he did this. And so I called him up. I said, bro, I need a job. Let's talk. And he said, it's crazy that my brothers are leaving. I need somebody, and I know you, and you're calling me for a job. You're hired immediately. And so God answered that, and I was with them for about a year and a half. I moved out of Fisher's Farm. I moved in with a friend of mine from the farm. We're living together, and I got fired from that place. I started working for another place, the same exact job, and got that the same day. The Lord did that for me. And the friend I was living with, his name was Jeremy Kearns. He went through the TAC as well. So he got recognized back in 22. And he's just not he was just not doing well, and I needed to leave because it's weighing on my soul, and I can't do it anymore. And I just, as a Christian, I can't be with you. I have to leave. So I went back to Fisher's Farm. This was probably like a few months ago. And so I've been at Fisher's Farm back there for a while. And so, yeah, that's, and right now I'm just, I want to be a teacher. The Lord has put that on my heart to teach. I've been leading Sunday school, leading at some Bible studies, taught a little bit at Fisher's Farm, and I've been hearing nothing but good things from it. There are some criticisms, but people will say, you got a gift, it's good, exercise that. And so I'm going to do an internship with the church to just understand what does teaching look like, maybe in pastoral work, maybe in the future. So yeah, that is my story.
That's awesome. Hey, I really appreciate just what you see is what you get. You're pretty honest, straightforward, and I appreciate that. And the verse that just really came to mind as you were speaking and is Philippians 1:6. It says, and I am sure of this, that he who began a good work in you will bring it to completion at the day of Jesus Christ. And God is faithful. Most of the time as believer, when we first come to know Christ, we don't really know what we've gotten ourselves into. We don't know.
Yeah.
And so because he wants us to be all in
for sure
for him. And he's made that, it sounds like, you've kind of tried to cut corners and play games, and the Lord says, nope, get back over here.
Yeah.
You're mine. I have a plan for you. I have purposes for you. I want to use you for my glory and your good.
Amen.
And he has a way of disciplining us when when we get out of line, and
Yeah.
thank God for that. So I'm super thankful to see you're back there in that community with those with the Fisher's Farm guys, and
Yes, sir.
got a solid church there, and that's good. I'm excited to see how God's plans are going to continue to unfold in your life, and how you might be used in the Addiction Connection. So thank you, Jacob, and
Yes, sir.
really appreciate your story, and
Yeah, thank you for letting me do
excited to see
this.
how it might impact some others. So thanks.
Yes, sir.
Bam.